everybody. Welcome back to Scifun Academy, where science is made fun. In today's video, we will learn about molecules. Now think about superheroes. Each one is cool on their own, but when superheroes team up, boom, they become unstoppable. Atoms do the same thing. They team up to form molecules, the tiny superhero teams that literally make up everything in the universe. So, what exactly is a molecule? A molecule is like a friendship group. It's when two or more atoms decide to hold hands really tightly and never let go. That strong hold is called a bond, and it keeps them together. And here's the coolest part. The smallest particle of a substance that can exist on its own and still show all the properties of that substance. That's a molecule. Now, molecules can be of two kinds: molecules of elements and molecules of compounds. First, let's look at molecules of elements. Sometimes, atoms of the same element join together to make molecules. For example, oxygen isn't just one little O. It usually hangs out as O2, two oxygen atoms. And sometimes, three oxygen atoms join together to form a trio. And guess what? That's ozone, our invisible superhero shield that protects Earth from sun's harmful rays. You can pause here if you want, if you would like to know more about these rays. This number of atoms sticking together is called atomicity. Some elements like helium like to be alone. They are called monoatomic. And others, like oxygen, hydrogen, or nitrogen, they come in pairs and are called diatomic. Phosphorus is tetratomic. And sulfur has 8 atoms in its molecule. It is polyatomic. Now let's look at molecules of compounds. While sometimes atoms stick to their own kind, at other times they like to make friends with atoms of other elements. And when they do, they form a compound. For example, water is made when two little hydrogen buddies join with one oxygen. Or carbon dioxide. It has one carbon and 2 oxygen atoms. That's the gas you breathe out when you sigh after homework. Or ammonia, that has 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen atoms. This is used for cleaning and fertilizer use. It's a stinky example, but a good one. These molecules always come together in a fixed ratio. Change that ratio and you change the substance completely. Look at H2O. That's water. Very safe to drink. But add just 1 oxygen atom to water, and now it is hydrogen peroxide, a bleaching agent, a disinfectant. Now that is certainly not safe to drink. Or look at carbon dioxide. You take 1 oxygen atom away, and now we have a poisonous gas, carbon monoxide. Kind of like the recipe of your favorite dish. If you change even one ingredient, the dish tastes completely different. I'm sure you wouldn't like salty cake either. Okay, now let's discuss about ions. What is an ion? Sometimes atoms don't just hold hands. They give and take. What does that mean? What are they giving and taking? Remember Dalton's atomic theory that atoms are the smallest indivisible particles? Well, at his time, he was absolutely right. But later, scientists discovered that an atom itself is made up of 3 smaller particles. Protons are the positively charged particles. Electrons, they are the negatively charged particles. And then there's neutrons, who have no charge. Normally, the number of protons and electrons are equal, so the atom is neutral. But if an atom loses 1 or more electrons and has more protons than electrons, then it becomes a positively charged ion called a cation. And if an atom gains 1 or more extra electrons, it now has more electrons than protons. This makes it a negatively charged ion called an anion. But how does an atom lose or gain electrons? Here's the structure of an atom. Protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus, the tiny dense center of the atom. They stay locked in place. Electrons are much lighter and orbit around the nucleus and outer rows or shells. The inner rows fill up first, and then the outer rows. Now, atoms always prefer to have their outermost row of electrons either completely full, that's 8 electrons, or completely empty. That makes them stable. For example, look at sodium. It has 11 electrons. That means it has 2 in the first row, 8 in the second row, and just one lonely electron in the third row. It's easier for sodium to give away that one lonely electron than to try to collect 7 more to fill the row. So sodium loses that one electron and becomes a cation, or Na+. Chlorine, on the other hand, has 17 electrons. That means 2 in the first row, 8 in the second row, and 7 in the third row. It only needs one more electron to complete its outer row of 8. So chlorine happily takes the electron sodium lost, becoming Cl- an anion. Now sodium is stable with a full second row, and chlorine is stable with a full third row. Because one is positive and the other is negative, they get attracted to each other, just like the opposite poles of a magnet. The strong attraction that holds them together is called an ionic bond. And we get sodium chloride. Yum, the salt on your French fries. Okay, quiz time. Question 1. Match the atomicity to the element. You got it. Ozone has 3 atoms. Helium has 1 atom. Nitrogen has 2 atoms. Sulfur, the big one with the 8 atoms. And phosphorus has 4 atoms. Okay, next question. True or false? Atoms only mingle with their own kind to make molecules. False. Atoms make molecules by combining with atoms of the same elements, definitely, but also with atoms of different elements. Final question. How does sodium form a cation? Sodium has 11 electrons. It loses 1 electron to achieve a stable configuration, becoming Na+. Great job, guys. Now let's take a look at a few key takeaways. First one, atoms team up to form molecules. 2. A molecule is the tiniest particle that can still show all the properties of a substance. 3. Atoms of the same element can join to make molecules. 4. Atomicity tells us how many atoms are in a molecule. 5. Atoms of different elements can combine to make compounds in a fixed ratio. 6. Atoms aren't indivisible. They have protons, neutrons, and electrons inside. 7. Atoms can become ions by giving away or taking electrons. And lastly, atoms are happiest when their outermost shell is either full or empty. In the next video, we will learn all about writing chemical formula. And that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new today or just feel smarter than you were 5 minutes ago, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. And stay tuned for more mind-blowing science. See you in the next one.